Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is BC Saint, and this is my survival world. This actually may be the last episode of the survival world. Yep, I have finally decided that we are done here. So I figured the best thing I could do is take you on a little bit of a world tour. And this is Spawn, and I have done nothing with it. But up here is where we had to travel to get to our place that we called home. Now, this over here was just intended to be an industrial district, and I was going to start the world off just getting ugly farms in here, and it turned out I decided not to do that. So the first thing I ended up doing was building this starter base right here. And this was actually my starter base and my storage room for, well, actually the majority of the time that I played on this world. See, down here is where I had all of the items to my name. So this base was very useful in the early game, and I still have some garbage farms lying around here. But the more farms that I added in here, the more builds I wanted to do, like this windmill right here that has the cobble generator, or my villager breeder over here, which is completely self-sustained and has only had one, maybe two incidents with villagers just magically disappearing. And as the more we went, the more I had to fill in just some some empty spots in this little island with builds like this one that actually came much later on in the series, as well as that one there and that one just beyond the barn. And but one of the original builds is actually right here, and unfortunately a lightning strike may have helped me get rid of it. But one of the biggest time consumers that I had early on in the series was this, the villager trading hall. And this has been actually very nice because if I lose any armor or anything other than an elytra, I can just come down here and in no time at all have absolutely everything I need for the cost of 1 emerald. And that's all thanks to a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff that we have going on back here. Actually, let's give a quick little example. With just the push of a button, we've got our villager who is ready to be... Oh. I don't have a potion. Well, you're gonna stay there for a little bit. But we've got a villager that's ready to be zombified and cured again, and we can do that automatically and actually AFKable. So that saved an enormous amount of time. And then just down the path a little bit, we've got our villager pen. I don't know why they insist on doing that. But we have the elephant in the well, it's not a room. We've got the elephant. And this is where we have hidden all of our, or a good portion of our bone meal farms, or bone meal powered farms. And this actually took the majority of the time that this world has existed just to get built and designed. And let's do a quick little fly around to get a better look at it. I have really, really loved looking at this church ever since I got it built. And this has kind of been the crown jewel of the whole world. See, the mega base, which has never existed, was supposed to just absolutely dwarf this, but I never got a good inspiration for the mega base, but I did get a good inspiration for this build. But moving on, after quite a bit of time, we finally moved out of the starter base with just a few chests in it and built this Viking longhouse, which I have really liked this build. And the interior is pretty nice as well. But the great thing about it has been this storage, the storage area down here. And I had a lot more room than I actually, let me fix this. I had a lot more room than I actually needed, which was great, but unnecessary considering this world is not making it to 1.20. And that was why I made it so massive. And I never actually got any of the redstone hooked up, as you can see back here. Just never did it, never really had the time or want or need or anything to get it fully accomplished. But I did want to. And now over here, we have our wheat farm that for some reason I cannot keep a villager alive in. And that seems to have been a little bit of a problem with this whole area. See, I wanted to make this whole village spawn-proof, but that never happened, and villagers are the worst. And so that never happened, so I was never really able to completely get villagers just out roaming around. And then over here we have our mine shaft that actually links up to our strip mine at the bottom of the world. Yep. And I put those obnoxious little things so villagers wouldn't keep getting stuck in them, but it didn't turn out very well. It's just more of an annoyance than anything. And we've got our top level wool farm right here. And it's not totally out of shears or anything. And just down the road, we've got another one of our houses that was intended to be a villager house, but never really worked out that way because, like I said, nothing was really spawn-proof in here. And our wizard's tower, which does not match anything here, but wizards play by their own rules, so I'm okay with them. I'm okay with that being a little out of place. And we have right here our patented hidden flower farm with a an on-off. Ah, there it is. An on-off switch that is completely hidden and produces all the flowers that we could possibly need. And then there is this little well, which I really liked doing because down beneath is my string and spider eye farm. And also all the glow ink that this world has had. And this has only been blown up by a creeper once, so not to brag. Right next door, we also have our Skyrim-inspired sawmill that houses all of our sugarcane in just underneath it. And oh, hey, apparently this has ran recently, and has produced more sugarcane than I even laughably need. I just can't. I have no need for this much sugarcane, and I should just turn it off, but I haven't. And outside the door, we have a bridge to the rest of the world. And this design was, I really liked this design. This was actually one of the first times that I have ever worked with a gradient in this way. I've always just splashed in different colors here and there, but I've never really gone from a dark color to a light color as it goes up in a build. And this was kind of a fun first attempt at it. And then across the bridge, we have our guard towers. That lasted all of half an episode before it caught on fire. And inside the guard towers, we also have a head farm that has, actually, impressively enough, yielded one zombie head. And that's it. If I ever do a head farm again, I will definitely be sticking closer to the design and not putting my own twist on it, because I'm sure the farm that I used would work great, but I didn't implement it completely the way it was supposed to be. And then just down this path, we have just a couple of points of interest. Starting with a rope bridge that I just kind of slapped together because I needed to get something here to connect the village to the rest of the points of interest, which one of my favorite of which is this, what I call the Druid Ruins. And here's where we have stored all of our princesses, and unfortunately, I think only Ariel, Rapunzel, and... who are you? Snow White are the only 3 survivors, I think. Out of the 12 that we started with, we've only got the 3. And then beyond the path, we have this, my favorite bridge that I have ever built. Disregard the dirt bridge. The Dragon Bone Bridge that spans this chasm, would it be considered? This was a really neat thing to build, and I like it. Even though I've only walked across the bridge maybe 4 times. And then we've got this Dol Guldur inspired castle ruins just out in the middle of nowhere. And this was the first build that I did that involved any form of music in my video or an actual time lapse. And this actually was the start of what I believe to be the start of my more substantial builds, where I would do something a little bit bigger and more intricate, because I was using stuff like, because I started using a mod like Litematica that, once I had built something in a creative world, I could show myself where to place the blocks in the survival world. And that really upped my building standards, that I could get away with and still maintain a decent recording schedule. But after I built these 2 things right here, it kind of got me wanting to do a little bit more of immersion as far as the pathway to get from what I considered the industrial district to what I had planned on being the mega base, which the mega base itself turned out to be the industrial district. And so that got me building stuff over here, which like I've said in previous episodes, the mega base was intended to be right up there, but that never happened because I couldn't quite get the build right. But after a little while, I finally decided to build this little invading army camp, which I really like, and plus with a little piggy over roasting fire, and it's okay, he volunteered. And we've got just a little remnants of a pillaged farmhouse with, you know, just neat little things here and there. And then we've got the raiding army's ship, which is right here. I would say to most armies probably had more than one ship, but this one only needed one. And like I thought, we're gonna have a lot of librarians on this ship. Some of the nerdiest raiding parties you've ever seen. And while I was trying to figure out what to do with the mega base, I switched gears a little bit and started working on a different village just for decoration's sake. And, well, we really didn't get too far with it. We got this crane and a pub built. But the build style that I had started to implement here, I was really getting into. I just didn't have the drive to continue it because 1.20 was just around the corner and I was kind of planning on things to do there. So this project kind of got sidelined almost as quickly as it started. But the next thing we should look at is our end builds, which I don't have too many. I've just got a couple farms, but they're worth taking a look at. Oh, but before we do that, we should probably talk about this incredibly awesome iron farm that has been shut down since I don't know how long this has been shut down. It has been, I had to turn it off very early on in this world because it was just overflowing with iron faster than I could turn the iron ingots into iron blocks. It was just instantly overflowing. So thank you, Mind the Fab, for that one. But I have started an iron farm design that I hope can rival this, if not do a little bit better, but we will see. And here we have our end portal. And just a few things in here. We've got our gravity block duper, and, well, I guess that's all we have in here. But we've got the receiving side of the gravity block duper, and we've got all the storage for it. And we also have, I'd better hurry up before the wither goes away, but we also have a little bit of an obsidian farm down here once we turn the gravity block duper on. So that is what we have for the end dimension farm. And the next thing on the next spot on our tour is the nether dimension farms. And most of them are actually on the nether ceiling. There is only one that is not. And then before I go up there, why don't we turn the music or the volume down? And then we have our gold farm, which has been my main XP farm since basically the beginning of the series. I actually built this fairly early on, and this was coincidentally the first Ilmango farm that I had ever built. And the more I was in this world, the more I kind of regretted not doing his upgraded version of this farm, just because it was, the upgraded version was just so incredibly powerful that I kind of regretted it, not doing it right away in the world. And even though I have used this farm constantly, I apparently go through a lot of gold. So over here we have the other half of our iron farm, and we have our basalt generator just ready to go, and our hoglin farm, or piglin, whatever, the ones that look more like pigs than people. We've got that farm for our cooked pork chops, which has been our main source of food throughout this entire world, because I never really cared to do villager trading for all my food. And then up there we've got our part of our Prismarine farm, and this portal leads to our Trident farm. And yeah, I really have not gotten a lot of use out of this because I haven't needed any copper or anything like that. But there's part of the Prismarine farm, and there's the other part of it. And yeah, I built this farm in preparation for, again, the mega base, and I never used it. And then one last build that we have on the nether ceiling is this, our piston bolt. And this was invaluable because in the beginning of the world, I went for a very long time without getting my elytra. So going back and forth between over there, another farm that I have in the overworld, and over here, which is where I was basing at the time, it was pretty rough just walking it. And what farm do we have over here? Well, we have our witch farm just beneath there in our swamp biome, and with the way raid farms are being built now, I don't think I'll be doing a witch farm again. These are kind of outdated anymore, but I've got it served its purpose. I had plenty of resources. And now on to the final build, and quite possibly my favorite. And here it is, my favorite interior that I have ever done, and possibly my favorite build of this world. And all of this is just for a Froglight farm that only worked for a little bit. And actually, while I'm here, let's take a look and see how many Froglights I actually have. Yep, this was about a week of designing, finding material, and implementing it in the survival world for just a few stacks of Froglights. But I think this turned out to be a beautiful, beautiful build. But I think this is where we are going to have to leave this world. So thank you very much for hanging out with me. Like and subscribe if you would, please. And I will see you in Season 2 Survival. Goodbye.